to hold its first sitting on Thursday with the election of the House leaders and swearing in of members topping the agenda. Our senior parliament reporter has been following up on the events that's shaping up that much awaited first sitting and now joins us from our town centre studios with more. Good morning, Patrick Amimo. Kindly just bring us up to speed with what we should be expecting and looking forward to on Thursday.
Thank you, Michael. According to the law, the Parliament must sit within 30 days after the general election. And in this particular matter, we had our general elections on August 8th. So Parliament had until September 7th to sit, to make its first sitting. That's when we saw last week President Uhuru Kenyatta use his power of incumbency and gazetted that Thursday should be the first day for the sitting of the new House, which will be, in this matter, is the 12th Parliament. And what happens is that today we'll be having an orientation program for those the MP-elects. They will be gracing our Parliament just to familiarize themselves with the procedures ahead of the Thursday sitting. Today, both the clerks of the National Assembly and the Senate have invited members to come and familiarize themselves with the process. And what happens is that we'll have two sessions. There will be a morning session and an afternoon session today and also tomorrow. That arrangement will be done. And what will happen is that when members come to the houses, they are supposed to come with their CVs. The clerks will be taking their biodata and other biometrics to ensure that they can process their badges, and also they'll be given other facilitating materials like the standing orders, because they have to familiarize themselves with the standing orders of the House in order to facilitate that discussion that will be happening when the plenary sessions are on. So it's very, very critical that members, especially those newly elected members, familiarize themselves with the standing orders. There was a change of the standing orders before the last Parliament went adjourned sine die indefinitely. And one of the reasons that informed that the amendments in the standing orders was to do with especially that punitive standing order number 111, which we saw last year, early this year, affect Ugenya Member of Parliament, Opio Wandai, who was to be suspended for at least almost 1 year, and that particular amendment was reviewed to make it more at least accommodative to members of Parliament and ensure that Kenyans or voters out there don't lose on contributions from their members, especially when it comes to misconduct in the House. And this time around, also, we'll see members will have to sign a code of conduct, which is at least something that will ensure that there is some decorum, especially in the manner that Parliament handles its business. And it's a requirement for all state officers and public officers and departments to have a code of conduct. So it's not something new for Parliament, but it's a provision that was put there to ensure that all institutions have code of conduct that will see how their members operate. So we expect today this orientation process. When members come on board, they'll be facilitated by the clerks of both houses. The other thing that is pending before the House is also that election of the Speaker, because according to the law and standing orders, whenever a new House first meets, then there is a vacancy in the two positions of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. So last week we saw the clerks issue out a gazette notice asking members of the public out there who are interested to submit their nominations. And so far by yesterday, the information we have is that in the National Assembly part, we had at least only 2 applications. That is the incumbent Speaker, Justin Muturi, who had submitted his nomination papers with at least a support of 83 members of Parliament elect. The other person that we saw, there was another Kenyan who had also picked the nomination papers, but he had not yet submitted a list of the 20 members of Parliament, because for the Speaker position, you must be supported by at least 20 MPs elect for you to be allowed to contest. And this Speaker's position does not require you to be a sitting member of Parliament, but you must have the same qualifications as a member of Parliament. But for the Deputy Speaker position, you must be a sitting member of Parliament. And for this Deputy Speaker position, we've seen in the National Assembly, At least we have the Kuresai North Member of Parliament, that is Moses Cheboy. He's submitted his nominations papers, and with at least a support of 80 members of Parliament. What I would say is that maybe the two current members, that is Justin Muturi and Cheboy, maybe they have an advantage given that they were in the 11th Parliament. They could have at least, they could be having a working rapport with members of Parliament, and getting signatures or endorsement from members of Parliament is easy for them, especially unlike a person who is coming in Parliament for the first time. I mean, the one who is applying for that position for the first time and does not have ways of networking. But then the threshold for you to participate to be nominated for the Speaker position is 20 members of Parliament. So the deadline for the Speaker position and those who are aspiring to be Deputy Speakers in both the Senate and National Assembly is 9 this morning. So we have at least less than an hour and 20 minutes for these for the nomination window to close. So far, as it were, for the Speaker position, we only have 2 positions, two individuals, but it appears Justin Muturi is the one with, at least with that requisite number, past 20, and Moses Cheboy for the Deputy Speaker. In the Senate, we are yet to get the clear data on what the position is, but so far there are indications that we had some people, the incumbent Speaker Ekwe Ethuro is trying to defend his position, and we've seen that professionals from Turkana also come out in support of his candidate, and they say that he should be retained, given that he's been showing at least the way he conducted the first Senate was he handled the matters with the business with a lot of decorum, and I think he should be given an opportunity to continue with his tenure. But there are also other people who will also express interest. We've seen that there's former Senator Chris Obure is being mentioned. We also have the former governor for Bungoma, Ken Lusaka, is also being mentioned. We've had other people mentioned, include. We've seen there's the former Senator Machag also expressed interest in this particular Speaker position for the Senate. The Deputy Speaker in the Senate, we've heard at least the likes of Susan Kihika, who was a former Speaker in the county of Nakuru. She's expressed her interest to be the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, because a position which became vacant after Kembi Gitura was trounced in the just concluded election. So that is the situation obtaining currently in Parliament, Michael.
All right, Patrick, thank you. And one more thing before we let you go. There was NASA legislators had threatened to boycott the swearing-in ceremony.